Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome to Mix with a Noob, episode 21, the final episode. I promise you, today we are going to commit. I have some final automation that I took care of, and I'm going to put this mix to bed. I'm finally happy with it for now, and I'm going to move on to bigger and better things, new songs. I don't want to say necessarily bigger and better things. So today is my day off from work. I do have a workout today at 4:15. So I've been trying to just mix most of the day and get some other stuff around the house done. For this mix, I did spend a little bit of time before recording doing some editing because I didn't want you to have to sit through, unending minutes of me coming in here and editing. So what I did, I discovered that I can run my Bluetooth from my desktop PC, which desktop PCs now, the newer ones, have Bluetooth in the motherboard. It's a thing I guess they started doing, probably a few years back. I just haven't bought a new desktop PC in a while. So my Lenovo, it's an all-in-one. It can connect wirelessly to my car, which is parked in the garage about, 10 yards, 15 yards away. Yeah, probably about 10 yards away. So I can actually monitor. I have both front car doors open. Oh, I should probably open all the doors. I'll probably open all my doors at some point. It's connected up. Let me go into preferences. I can actually switch here from the output device from primary to speaker or headphones, car, multimedia, stereo. I'm going to go ahead and hit play. What's going to happen is you'll probably you're not going to hear the desktop audio, so you'll hear the mix coming through the mic probably pretty faintly, I would bet, but you'll still hear it coming from out of the garage. Yeah, so I don't know how prevalent that is, but I can sit here and listen, and it's really great. What I'll do, I'll hit play on the mix. I'll walk into the garage. I'll stand there. I'll sit in the car maybe. So I found a couple of things. By doing this, I found a couple of things. One was that the bass was slapping way too hard during this pre-verse. And so I've come in here and I fixed it. I've edited it by hand using Split. And I've got rid of all the real extra poppy slaps. You can hear them here. I'm sorry, let me change my output device back to... There we go. Hold on, that did not do it. Okay, there we go. So it's this real poppy. There's two right there in a row. When I'm really slapping it during this part of the song, because we have the duck from the kick is smashing that to the bass. It's squashing it down, so it's not as bad. But when we get to this part, because I decided to underdub the kick, which was all time aligned, and I tried to do some time aligning on it, and it came out ugly sounding because it threw everything off. So I decided to just mute. That's why these are set to mute. I don't remember how far back that was, which episode that was, but if you look back through them, I think it was the one I called Happy Accidents, because it actually gives this part, it actually breaks the song up a little bit. It makes this part less energetic, and then when the verse kicks in, it really bumps up the energy. So that's one change I made. That was pretty arduous. I mean, it might have taken me an hour to do that, because there's 3 sections. So there's that change. I thought that sounds a lot better. In my car speakers, it sounds a lot better. Before, it was making this horrible pop sound, just terrible pop. I don't know if it's from the limiter or something. I just did a quick master on a wave and was playing it, and it was awful. So what else did I change? Let's see here. Okay, I took some of the snare verb off. Let's look at where it's at now. I set this to -12. The snare verb was really, really strong. And it's interesting that in these headphones and on my monitors, my Mackie what are those things? S10s or something? They're the $300 version of the Mackie home monitor for, you know, entry level monitors, or the $200 level S10 I think or something. So through the Mackies, through my headphones, through my cheap little Logitech computer speakers, the clicking isn't bad. It kind of adds to the, it kind of gives that pre-verse section a little percussive sound. But when I put it through my car, it just makes a horrible popping sound that's really jarring to the ear. So, and I just softened it. So let's listen to it again. So they're still in there. You can still see them. That's one right there. So I basically lowered the volume and I glued it together, and this is what it sounds like. It's those double pop, 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 pop. That's me slapping too hard on the bass. So that's a lesson I'll learn for the future for recording, is slapping does sound cool, but you can't be driving it in like that. All right, so the vocal volume definitely at this volume is fine, is perfect. I mean, it really sounds good in the car. It sounds great. I don't know if that has to do with mastering at the end, trying to do that my quick master with a compressor and a limiter and a little bit of multiband compression. Maybe that's what brings the vocals up, but setting them at this level where it sounds too low in my headphone mix sounds great at the end. So one thing I discovered was that there was a note here. I'm going to bypass these. I added these automation lanes since last time. I'm going to hit play on this note. Here's with the mix. It blares in the car. It really just blares out. So I did a dip in the EQ, and what I discovered was, so I have it here, this band 5 at 443.6 hertz, and I just have it dip. I actually made a dip, a -1 dip overall, and that seemed to clean up the sound a little. And that's right in that pile up area. 250, 250, whatever it is. There's a range right there. I think it's like 100 to 450 or something, and especially like right around 250 is kind of the choke point for rock sound, because of the bass and guitar. They share that, they're real heavy in that area. So I noticed his voice. Let's bypass it again. His voice also had a big surge right in that area. So by adding this automation, I dip you can watch it work. See there, it dips it real, significantly. It makes a big cut right there, and then it returns to normal, but it's also dipped by 1 dB in the whole mix. And I think it helped lift the voice up a little. So the voice, to me, I have it dialed in. It sounds really good. Another thing I made was, in the previous video, I had shifted all of this double chorus by 20 milliseconds to the left. And what that did is kind of made it sound distant. It actually gave it depth backwards in the mix. Sometimes when you do depth, you want to go wide. You want to go to the sides. So you have like a image of a drum set or something. Or, your guitar sounds super wide, so it's like it's filling the whole room. But you can also give depth by using different things to make something sound like it's far away from you at a distance. Reverb, a real heavy reverb can do that. Because when a sound hits your ear that's very far away, it has a certain sound to it. So I shifted those back to just overlapping the original, exactly the way they were intended. And that immediately sounded a lot better. What else did I play with? Let's see here. None of this stuff. I'm trying to think. Oh, I kind of dialed in the vocal reverb. I think, I don't remember if I was at 7 before. Let me check my notes. I haven't been that faithful with keeping my notes. I feel kind of bad, but let's see here. Yeah. No, I didn't even record. I didn't even mark down what level my vocal verb was at, but I think I had to back it off like 1 dB, and that made it sound a lot clearer, because the more reverb you put on the vocal, the more smeared it kind of sounds, the more the less clear it sounds. Let's see, what else did I do? Kick. Oh, okay, the kick was actually overwhelming. Let's listen to it now. Okay, see, now to me, this sounds the most balanced that I've been able to get the drum mix to sound. I dialed this kick. The kick was just like slamming in the car. So that's the same lesson I'm trying to teach myself, is that when the kick sounds sufficient in these, it's way overpowered in the car. And I'd like to be able to do some sort of bass line where I could figure out, and maybe what I'll do at some point is I'll just put like a whole song, like a whole like 3-minute section of kick from like a sampler or something, just maybe on a grid, I don't know. And I'll have the sine wave in there. And then I'll mess with I'll adjust the volume up and down, and I'll listen, maybe make audio notes as I'm doing it. And then I'll play it back in my car and try to develop a feel for, okay, if I have the kick set to, what do I have it set to right now? I have the kick bus set to negative 10 dB with negative 3 dB of sine wave coming through on the gate. That is perfect in the car, or that's 2 dB too much or whatever. So you get some kind of like feel. That way then I can start with the kick. I think that's the plan for next mix, is to start with the kick and snare and get those dialed in using my car monitor system, which is, to me, is a really interesting thing. The wonders of technology, right? All right, so I think that's pretty much it. So I dialed the kick down. I dialed the sine wave coming through with the kick down. I dialed the snare verb down. And I think because I dialed the snare verb down, you're actually cutting signal. So I think I bumped this up. I want to say I bumped the overall volume by a dB. I think I might have cut this by 2 or 3 even, like quite a bit, because the reverb was just making that snare just plop everywhere. So this is it. I'm done with this mix. I feel good about it. I have checked. Oh, another little quick thing I did here. These little bass snips that lead in, some of them were like really louder than others. Let's see. That one seems quieter, but this one was... I tried to make them about the same level. They're different, which is good. It gives the song a different feel. They're not identical. I tried to make them roughly the same volume as the bass following it. Maybe slightly louder. This one could probably come down just, let's go 1 dB here. One final change before I commit. I'm really excited to just be done with it and let it live on with its roughness and its noobness or whatever forever. It'd be a testament to the beginning of my mixing adventure, or whatever you want to call it. Was there anything else I wanted to show you before I actually commit that I changed here? I don't think there is. So these snippets I just dragged down manually. They fit in a lot better. Let's see, are any of these automation lanes new? No, I don't think so. We talked about everything here. All right, so that's a mix. That's a wrap. The song is called Diggin' Holes. I think I forgot to mention the name of the song and the band every time on the video. I was doing it early on. So this song is Diggin' Holes by Greenwire, my former band. And I have 11 songs to go after this, one of which is not fully recorded. It still needs drums. So I'm going to move on to another song and begin another series. I think developing your instincts as a mixer maybe would be the kind of overall theme, and I'll talk about more general things than specifically tools in Reaper and things like that. So at this point, the final step would be to send it out, to actually render it to a wave. Let's do that right now. Change the date on here to the 7th. We'll send it out as a wave, and we're going to actually tell Reaper to add rendered item to new tracks in the project. And then we can do some mastering, just light mastering, whatever you want to call it. What do I have turned on here? Hold on. Cancel that. What did I turn on my... Oh, okay, I have a master limiter here. I actually I mix into it, but then I like to... I'm actually going to do the mastering on the wave that we're going to create here. I'm going to do the limiting. The reason for that is I do like to use the audio statistic plugin to find my average loudness, and then from there I add, is it 16? I have it saved as a link here. Let me go to Chrome. That's my email. You can ignore that. Here's the link to it. This is Quick Audio Mastering with Reaper. This is the article. So I can give these guys a plug. Audiorecording.me. ME. What is ME? Maldivia? I don't even know. Okay, it's not opening. There it goes. They say to find your average RMS and then add 16 to that number, and that's the threshold you set for your master. All right, so we're going to do the audio statistics. And I really want to give you a disclaimer that clearly I don't know what I'm doing as a mastering person. This is just what I've learned on articles. It would actually be really great to pay somebody to master, but that's expensive. I mean, the cheapest I've ever seen it, I think, is like $25 a track, but I think they just run it through software and have it like auto master it. To have a person actually master it, I'm sure you're talking $100, $200 a track at the low end, and probably, thousands. Who knows? 1,000 per track. I haven't even looked into what a full-on mastering professional would charge. Okay, here it is. Step 11. Okay, threshold equals RMS total values average of left and right plus 16 dB. Okay, so you let this play out and you let it find the average RMS. And it looks like we're not going too far from 30. We'll let it keep going a little bit just to show you the example of it. All right, so it's 31. Like we could add these together and average them, but it's not going to be any significant difference of just going 31. So 31 and 16, it'd be negative 31. Oops, okay, plus 16. So, no. Clear, okay. So 31 negative plus 16. Negative 15. So let's throw our limiter on there. Oops. All right, I use this JS master limiter. I go to negative 15. The article recommends, instead of 0.01 or 0.1, which they say 0.3, so I go 0.3. I don't mess with any of these settings. Let's listen to it. Yeah, so that bumps the loudness up quite a bit. I do recomp, the re-X-comp, multi-band compressor. Mastering 3-band electro. I just put it on there. I'm going to put that before the limiter, though. Is there a bad clipping right in the beginning there? Yeah, so that's pretty much it. That's really all I do. I think if I had a better monitoring environment, better equipment and a room that was treated and stuff, I could try to actually get in there and start to get a feel for how to truly master. Oh, the other thing you can add is compression. Compression, I've been told to go really, really light. at the end to master. And there's this master bus glue preset, but usually this threshold is much too low for that. So I just bring this down, and I actually will bring this threshold down to 1.25, which is just a number I read somewhere. Someone said, hey, if you want to get your peaks a little more even before it hits the master limiter, just put a really light compressor on there, 1.25 ratio. So you can see like this little red line here, that's the amount of reduction it's doing. It's real gentle. It's we're talking like less than 2 dB at a time. So that shouldn't make too much pumping. It shouldn't mess with it. So what I'm going to do to see how much this changes this waveform, because see how low these look still. When we process this, oops, that was dumb. When we process this, those peaks are going to climb up. So I'm actually going to do render to stereo stem and mute originals. Let's go back to that article. This is actually a really good article. Quick audio mastering with Reaper. And this is actually the second part of it. In the first part, they just talk about, cleaning up your track, using automation lanes to get rid of any silence or anything weird at the ends. Just general kind of maintenance stuff. They talk about the bit depth and things like that. Yeah, so then you can check it afterwards and try to aim for this negative 16 dB after you do your processing. Okay, so here it is. See how much thicker and fuller that looks? Okay, I'm going to check it. Now I'm going to check it with my car, and I think we're good. I mean, the real way to know is to walk out there, listen. If it feels exciting, if it feels good, and everything's balanced and good, then I know I'm good to go. Oh, something to note. I don't know how much you heard through the mic. Maybe nothing because of the size of the mic and the distance to the car. I have the volume all the way cranked in my car. And the reason for that is to hear if I'm getting too much, distorting or anything like that. So this is my song. This is the waveform of my song. I'm going to go ahead and put it on my phone. I'm going to put it up actually as an MP3. So actually, let me see here. I'm going to do a render. We'll just do selected tracks. Okay, we don't have anything on the master chain, right? We don't want to, you want to make sure you don't like double up with your mastering type stuff. Digging holes mix to, I'm going to say final mix. Because like I said, I'm committing and I'll let my bandmates hear it. And if there are any like technical bad mistakes as far as like, oh, you left that in or something, something out of the ordinary, I'll come back and fix it. But honestly, those guys don't give that great of feedback usually. I mean, once in a while they'll say like, oh, the voice is too loud, or typically they'll just say like, it's sounding good, which is good encouragement, but I rarely do I get back like, oh, the guitar is overpowering everything else by 1 dB. Like I would never hear anything like that. So I think they're probably going to be just fine with this. I'm hoping anyway. So here we go, sending it out to MP3. And I'm going to call it good. We'll end there. It'll be a short episode instead of my normal 45-minute to 60-minute long, big long episode. So here it is down at the bottom, my MP3. It's looking pretty good still. So thank you for watching episode 21, the final episode of Mix with a Noob. I appreciate you sticking with me if you have been here from the beginning. As always, give me a thumbs up if you like the video, hit subscribe for more, and give me a comment if you like. If you need to point anything out that I did wrong, which I'm positive I'm doing some of this stuff, less than optimally, so I'll take your feedback, I'll listen. Thank you very much for watching. See you later.